100%. There's a lot of Christians that have no idea. And
Sure.
you know what? I wish spiritual warfare on anyone, okay? But to be educated, to understand, does two things. One is it helps you protect yourself and stay out of the potholes and open and make sure those doors are closed so the enemy can't come in and give you the things he wants to do to you, right? The second thing, right, is understanding it so you are stronger as a Christian so you can fight for others who don't know. Okay, you can help other people. When you move past your own self, yes, take care of yourself. That's what we have to make sure we take care of ourselves in the sense that we need to protect closed doors so that way now when we're going out to battle, we don't have open boots. So the enemy's going to try and destroy you because you're helping other people. Like you said, a target on your back. Oh yeah, you got more than a target on your back. Like he wants you dead. So therefore, like you want to be prepared. You want to be ready. Just like when I was a world champion, of course, everyone wanted to beat me, right? But I didn't let it stop me. I wasn't prepared to give my belt up. That's what kept me going.
So, welcome back to the Jesus Magnet. I'm your host, Joel, and today we have Nathan on the show, and I'm actually going to get my co-host, Brenton, to introduce him. And it's going to be great to have your story, Nathan, but here you go, Brenton, all over to you.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Nathan. Just for those who don't know, there's the guy we have on today. There'll be people that are watching that do know him, and then they'll know his story. But for those who don't know him, like we've got Nathan Carnage Corbett, who's an 11 times world title holder in Muay Thai, and an exceptional career where he's had like about 65 fights for 59 wins and 44 by way of knockout. And just a phenomenal fighter. And later in his life, he has encountered Jesus Christ and Jesus has had a big impact on his life. So we got him on today so he can share his testimony and tell people about how what Jesus has done for him. So I'll pass across to you, Nathan, if you want to open up and just share, and we'll obviously go from there.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. It's great to be on this podcast, of course. And you guys are in Thailand, of course, the land of the Muay Thai. So pretty cool. I think we can talk fighting and God all together, right? Spiritual warfare. They to me they go hand in hand. Obviously, I wasn't aware of that until I become aware of it. And so it's one of the things that that drew me, of course, to God, but also back to God. So I was saved in 2007, 8, to church for a few years, and then just sort of faded out and ended up going in different directions, let's say. And now that I'm more aware, so wrong direction for sure.
So, Nathan, how long ago was your encounter with Christ? Because I think you're on for relatively new Christian. Is that correct?
Well, look, yeah, I would say I'm a new Christian in the sense of truly being devoted. Yeah, like truly being devoted, like the past 18 months or so, because before that, like I said, I mentioned I saved in 2007, 8. So I don't do the maths on that, but it's a little while, 18 years ago or something like that, 19 years. Where I was saved, I went to church for a few years. So technically I was I was saved. I received Christ then. But again, at that time, I was just going to church on the Sunday. It was really, I enjoyed it. The message was always positive and powerful, and the worship music was fun, exciting, but I never really lived according to the word. And then I found myself, a few years after that, of being on that journey where I was back out of following Christ and more just in the world. So,
yeah. So what was it that kind of where you slipped away a bit? What was the stumbling block or the thing that kind of distracted you?
You know what? To be honest with you, at the time, was that I got to a point after a few years where I was like, I just don't I can't believe I'm not been able to believe like the pastors believing. Yeah, I just didn't have that same level of like the part they believe so much. I just didn't have that full conviction, that full uh, surety in my faith with the journey. And at the time, I was like, these people maybe they're not really sort of like my people. Like I wasn't sort of judging, but I just was like, I don't really know. Like I guess it was a combination of that really not really understanding it and really seeing maybe what I was hoping for, maybe. And so then I guess it just slowly sort of dimmed, I guess that it dimmed down, a light dimmed, and it wasn't getting fed, it wasn't getting fueled. Now that I know it dimmed out to the point where now I'm not in church, and then I was just, I was still fighting at that time. So of course I didn't fall to nothing. I was fighting in that before that time, during that time, and after that time. So then I obviously I had what I call my direction in my life as far as like my career and stuff, but the spiritual aspect of things obviously, stopped.
So would it be fair to assume that just by your dedication to Muay Thai kind of overshadowed to a degree, because it takes so much like energy, so much like of your time that kind of like overshadowed the things of God?
You know what? I'm not going to say it overshadowed it, but a great way to put it would be that my fight career at the time, actually, the crazy story is how I actually ended up at the church in the first place was one, a year or two before that, one of my mentors who I looked up to is this great man. He loved God. So I was like, well, if he loves God, then I need to know God. That was like the first initial, I guess, like, boom, like light bulb, right? Which is one of the reasons why I feel passionate about sharing with people about God, because that was an impact on me. Who I looked up to someone who was a very, very successful businessman. He was one of my sponsors. You probably saw Vass on my fight shorts back in the day. And he was like a mentor, father figure, a lot of different things. So like when he, said that
What was the guy's name? Was that Stan the Man?
No,
Or was that
before Stan
somebody
Man,
else?
this was Phil Vasily. He was more the person that got my attention at first. Then moving past that period, then one of my friends who I was training with, I went to work one day to see him at his work, and he wasn't there. And they said, I said, "Where's Ed?" And he's like, "Oh, he's at church." I'm like, "How would it make he's at church? Like, he's not at church, And then on Monday, I
Churchy.
He's not a
yeah,
churchy.
yeah. He use that bit of Aussie slang, right? I'm like, wow. Because, you have an idea what someone goes to church back then when you don't know anything, right? And then
Well,
I'm
you go
like,
like in Aussie, he's not one of those Bible bashers.
yeah, exactly. They Bible basher. Oh my God, he's born again, he's a Bible basher. Oh my God, right? And so then on Monday, I said, where were you? You're at church yesterday? And he goes, yeah. He goes, yeah. When my dad was dying, he said to me, he said, Ed, he grabbed my hand. He said, find faith, find faith. Anyway, in that same period of time, there was a guest speaker at the church that I went to. It was called Generation Church at the time. And it was Stan the Man Longinides, right? Anyone in Australia would know who Stan the Man is if you researched kickboxing history, at least. You would know who he was. He was from Melbourne. He was like this incredible kickboxing fighter. He lived in America, trained with Benny the Jet Center. He did amazing things for the sport. And he was preaching at this church only within weeks
He's
of
one
when
of
I
the
first
best.
started. So then I said, I need to go to this church and watch this guy preach. So I went to the church and they had the rock music on, not rock music, but it was worship music, but it was like a band, like, whoa, the lights. I thought, this is pretty cool. And then he got up there and he preached. And I'm obviously a fighter, so I'm a fan of this, of this guy, and he preached, and it was powerful anyway. So that's what started the journey. And so then I got in, and then I went again, and then I was going to church most Sundays, for a couple of years. Like I'd miss a few here and there, and I'd travel or whatever, but it was, it was pretty consistent for a good period of time. So that's when it sort of first started. So back to the original question is my fight career didn't take me away from church, because my fight career is from Monday through Saturday, because Sunday is my rest day anyway. But however, that was my main focus in my life, and spirituality was something I was seeking, and I was always looking for that something. And in that 2-year period, I would just say it like this, in that 2-year period, not from anyone's fault, but I didn't find, I guess, maybe what I thought I was looking for. I didn't find God. I didn't find the Spirit. I don't know. I don't know what it was that didn't convict me or convince me that there was that He was there. However, what I realized, knowing that what I know now, is in the 2 years that I was there, I didn't read the Bible once. Go figure. I wasn't living according to His word. Go figure. And I wasn't doing fellowship. Go figure. So there is steps to take to getting to know the Lord properly and truly, and to hear His voice in different ways. So that's the beginning, at least, and that's why I was walked away. In the sense, I didn't walk away; I just sort of faded out, and not because of my fighting, just because it just was,
Hmm. You mentioned that fighting and spiritual warfare are really similar. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, yes, because that's what got me to come back to Christ, was because I had no clue about spiritual warfare. I had no experience, or I had no experience. So I didn't have any experiences to understand. And when I went to church for those 2 years, I never even really heard I never even heard those words put together, like spiritual warfare. I think if they had spoken about spiritual warfare, I think I would have been like, my ears would have pricked up. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, warfare, like warfare. I was fighting a lot then. I would have been like, well, this was interesting. And maybe they did. Maybe the devil made me deaf at that time. Maybe he closed my eyes. Who knows, right? Because they probably would have said something over 2 years. So then when spiritual attacks started happening to me, I was just like, whoa, like what's going on? Do you know what I mean? Like just like crazy thoughts and crazy attacks, just like insanely stuff like 2 years ago after some trauma in my life. And then all of a sudden this attacks just started becoming heavy, and I was just, I didn't know what to do, where to go, what it was all about, trying to make sense. So I just was like, I'm gonna go run to God. You know what I mean? That was the first like thought, was like, I just need to go find God. I need to go find God. I need to go find the truth. I need to go find God. So I just was like, I need God. So I just was like, I ran, to God, and was then looking and searching, seeking, trying, and everything that I had to find Him in, with different kind of things. So why I'm relating the two is with the physical fighting. I just did a seminar a week or so ago in Albuquerque at Kingdom Muay Thai, and I taught a lesson on Muay Thai. In the physical, okay, so let's say Carnage, so bang, 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 elbows, punch, kicks, which is beautiful. Everyone likes to learn some fighting techniques and skills, and have a good bash out. And then I taught the second part of the class, really I use Ephesians 6, because, obviously the armor of God, and because we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but principalities of weakness. So I went into teaching them about the spirit realm, okay, the spiritual aspect of this life that we're living in. It's the spiritual part. So we say spiritual warfare, but really, it is warfare, because it's war, but it's the spiritual realm that we're dealing with. And so that's what's brought me back, and back with a vengeance, because I realize there's a kingdom of darkness and there's a kingdom of heaven. There's only two kingdoms. There's no in between. There's not like we're sitting in the middle. There's one or the other. There's no in between. As much as most people don't want to hear that, they don't want to accept that, they don't want to know about that. They want to think that's just your opinion. That's just your thought. I don't want an opinion. I actually don't want an opinion. I don't want one. I just want to know the truth. So I don't have an opinion. It's just fact. There's kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of heaven, which is God's kingdom, of course. So that's what led me towards understanding the spiritual realm, from the sense of spiritual attacks and spiritual warfare, and then using, I guess, my spirit that God gave me to be a fighter, to be a warrior, to go through uh, fights where I was afraid. I wasn't like just this fearless guy that walked down the ring, even though I was Carnage and I knocked out 42 people and I had all these victorious wins. I still experienced fear. I still experienced having to overcome it, and I'd still have to go through the hard yards to get to that point, and then have to go through that, and then obviously deliver. So He gave me the spirit, to fight and be a fighter and be a champion. I didn't know that I didn't know at that time that this would be for a bigger, higher purpose, like a higher calling.
Yeah, it's very good.
I really didn't know it was going to be for a higher calling, because in honesty, I thought it was all me. I mean, my trainers helped me, and I had some coaches along the way that gave me knowledge, departed information, and helped me. And I got so many people I could thank. The list is long. And I'm grateful for every one of them, because they're all part of it. But I thought it was me, in the sense that, without being selfish or egotistical, I just thought it was me. I just thought all this is whatever skill I did have, even though I didn't think I was the greatest. I just did what I had to do every time, and it just turned out that I was the greatest, but I wasn't thinking I was, And it was actually His gifts that He gave.
Well, you for your weight class, Nathan, you pretty much probably are the greatest.
Yeah. I am the greatest to everyone. But
or if you're not the greatest, you're in the top 5. So
yeah, I mean, I was the greatest because I was undefeated at that weight for many years. But I never looked at myself at the time like, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. I just was like, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm just going to keep doing it, because I'm not going to. So that's just what happened. But yeah.
So did you not really struggle so much with ego and things like that? Because we were kind of talking about this earlier before you came on, that, even with podcasting or with fighting or whatever it is, that a bit of ego can help you build whatever it is you're doing. And then, for us, like, a little bit of ego still actually helps the Jesus Magnet build, because it gets more people to the Jesus Magnet podcast. But for you, he's saying that you didn't really struggle with the ego so much because I can imagine if I was one of the best fighters in the world, I would have a big head, man.
Well, here's the thing: is you say that because you haven't been there, but the truth is you probably wouldn't. Okay. And it's usually people say, "Oh, I think I would be like this," but the truth is, you probably wouldn't be like that. But there are people like that. So to answer the question is like, did I not have an ego? Of course, I must have had an ego. And I remember actually when I was 21, I went to Hong Kong to train for 3 months to teach. Actually, I wanted to have just had a fight. I wanted to go see my friend in Hong Kong. He moved there. There's an older guy, another guy who I respect and looked up to. He ran a dojo there. It was karate, kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing, fitness. So I took 3 months out of fighting, went over there, and I was in the office, and he was someone I looked up to, right? And he said, "Oh, you've got an ego." I said, "No, I don't have an ego," because I looked at myself as humble. I don't have an ego. What do you mean I have an ego? He said, "No, it's good. You need one. You need one. You need to have an ego. It's good." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it's a funny story because, like, I must have definitely had some form of ego, right? In the sense that I believe I carry myself as humble, because I haven't had anyone say, "Oh, Nathan was such a this, or he's such a douche, or he's such a blah, blah, blah." So therefore, I obviously treated people well. So when it comes to competitive ego and like you said, enough to drive something forward, right? Like to drive the podcast, to be successful, to win, like you have to have some form of like, let's do this. And, you hear people say it's about having a healthy ego, right? Let's say a healthy ego. So I think I didn't necessarily deal with an ego issue, more than, I really believe I didn't deal with an ego issue, but knowing now the difference between being prideful, okay, in the sense that, when God talks about he doesn't like the people to be like this prideful, there's a spirit of pride, and boasting and different kind of things. So now what I mainly try and do is I check in and say, okay, I don't want to be prideful in the things that I do, but I also want to make sure that I do something excellent and I'll do something really good that's going to inspire people, right? So, for example, when I used to teach my seminars, I would just ba 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 ba, and I'll still do it to this day where I kind of light people up. But if you actually went to the seminar and spoke to the person I did it to, they would actually say, "Oh no, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. That was amazing. That was incredible." Give me a hug afterwards. But the viewer on the other side of the lens is going, "Oh, Nathan's beating up people in the seminar," right? But the fact of the matter is that that's not what's happening. What I'm trying to do is
just bashing them.
Yeah. No, what I'm trying to do is show them, and not only show them, make them experience and feel that like the energy of just like what a champion, what determination feels like, looks like, experience it, like taste it, eat it, feel it, not just like show it, right? So then it was like one time I went to a seminar, and I said in my last seminar when I was in Canada a couple of years ago, and after the seminar, the guy comes up to me and said, "Oh man, I felt like I got baptized, after like lit him up." It was like, boom, like woke him up, right? Woke him up. Now, at the time it was funny, I didn't even think about it much because I wasn't really a Christian faith following Christ at that time as much as I am now, but I was like, that was quite funny. So ego, yes, I think we all have an ego to a sense where we need one, but pride is different, right? So it's like, I'm no like,
Absolutely.
I have no interest in doing a video, and I'm not against anyone who does a video with their shirt off or anything like that, but I just have no interest in like catching not that my body is incredible or anything like that, but I'm just saying I have no interest in like catching a better angle on my body on a camera or a photo to make someone go, "Oh wow, look at his body." You know what I mean? Like I just don't have any interest in that. I just have no desire to go down that life. Or let me show something here or show something there. I mean, it's a stupid example, but I just wanted to bring it forward, It's a stupid example, but I just wanted to bring it forward.
That's a good example. I think, I also have no desire to see people to see me with my shirt off, but for a different reason.
Hey, I'm not looking buff these days either. It's all good. Yeah, but yeah, again, it's well, and here's the thing.
I thought I'd bring up.
No, I was just going to follow up with that and say,
You go.
you know what? I was just going to follow up with that and say, there's no criticism on anyone. It's more like a lot of people are hurting, a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people are looking for validation. A lot of people are looking for something, they're looking for something to make them feel good, something to make them feel important, something to give them validation. And maybe it's attached to financial, where they need to make sure their finances are good. So they need to continue to look or be or act or be a certain way, right? So there's a lot of things that lies behind the way people do things. That's why, like, I never judge anyone on what they're doing or how they're presenting themselves, because that's not for me to do that, because I'm not perfect. But it's about seeing what's behind the person, like as I know now about the spirit realm. I've had like deliverance, I've spoke to seers where they've cast broken spirits off me from generational curses, and they named them all off. There was names, there was spirits, there was a lot of things going on. There was spirits attached to me. There's obviously spirits that torment you from the outside as well. There's ones all the way through my bloodline, and you realize that sometimes, like, and it's not in every case, that's why we can't excuse everyone's behavior for a spirit. It can be sometimes their own carnal mind, but there is a lot of sometimes ways people act, and it's not even them. It's really the hurt that's been wounded, and the spirits come in there, abandonment or track, and these spirits, they come in and they cluster. They don't just come one spirit. So let's just say the spirit of rejection or abandonment, as a child, opens up the door for the enemy to have a stronghold or some kind of attachment to you. So then it goes into the soul, wounds it, and then these other little spirits come in and they cluster. It's like they cluster together. Just if you think about like a maggot, you kind of usually see them all together. You know what I mean? Like it's usually not just one. There's one. There's going to be others floating around somewhere, right? And they cluster, and then that person's then tormented and acting in a way that maybe isn't them. I mean, it's really actually not how God created them to be. It's not, and people think it's funny. People go, "Oh, that's just crazy. It's not true. That couldn't be possible. That couldn't be real." But I'm telling you, it is. It really is. And again, it's not just excusing everyone's. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's a key part of Jesus' ministry. There was a guy that was had like a legion of spirits in him, which is just a multitude, and Jesus cast them out. So people even of the day of Jesus would be face the exact things that you're talking about. It's precisely the same. All
Yeah,
kinds of
exactly.
spirits that they would be entangled by.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's the human itself really hasn't changed too much, and the spiritual realm hasn't changed at all. Okay. What we see is definitely changed. Technology, growth, where the intelligence of the human is growing and growing and learning and expanding. That's how good God is. That He created something that can continue to grow. That's why they keep finding galaxies, because when He said, "Let there be light," it just keeps going. So it just keeps creating new galaxies and new galaxies and new galaxies. It doesn't stop. So of course He created us. Of course our minds are going to expand, and we're going to go from walking, and then and now all of a sudden years later there's aeroplanes, and then and then there's whatever. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. So but the spiritual realm hasn't changed. It's still demonic. It's still there is this place that is, of course, the unseen. For those who can't see, there's people that can see in the spirit, but of course not many of us can.
But that does there is a lot of people that freaks out. But what you're saying is because of your experience in Muay Thai, and for those who don't know Nathan, he's got very powerful style. He's like just a walk forward kind of guy, and just a powerful striker, powerful kick punch, impressive with elbows, impressive with clinching and knees. So he's just an all round like beast of a fighter, right? So in his Muay Thai life, like he just has like a walk forward hard man mentality. But if you apply that to the spiritual realm and like basically not, what would you say, letting spiritual forces attack you or fighting off spiritual forces that might be at play against you, there's a good correlation there. Is that the way you see it, Nathan? Is it something like that?
Yeah, look,
where you can take your past experience?
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you. But here's the thing. Here's what I will say. As much as I was powerful, incredible, all the things that you just said about me and the fighting. When it comes to spiritual fighting, as it says, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Okay? So in other words, all the carnal fighting I did was great. But the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pull down of strongholds. And the only way that we can defeat the enemy is by the power of Jesus Christ dying, which is the power of the Holy Spirit, which is the power of God, which is the prayer and coming against the enemy in the spirit realm. It's with prayer. It's with living in obedience. It's with closing doors. It's with untying yourself from things from the past that aren't serving you. It's cutting cords, cutting things. It's closing doors, hex, vexes, spells. I've had witchcraft put on me, like, I opened up doors to the witchcraft realm, not knowing, so then when someone throws a curse out, it can't land on a closed door, but it can if it's an open door. And that's the thing. So that way you have to be under God's covering. You have to be under His anointing. So you're walking down the street, and like things can just be coming at you all the time. But if you're under the covering of the Lord, like you're not going to get hit. It's like you're protected. But we don't know what we don't know. So at the time I didn't know. So what I said earlier was the fact that I was a fighter has helped me have some kind of tenacity, some kind of like I have to just not give up and not quit and just continue to have resilience. I mean, it says in Ephesians 6 with resilience. You have to be resilient. Like we have to resilience. It's like they say it for a reason, because the enemy is coming to seek, kill, and destroy. He's not coming to give you a jab. He's not coming to give you a little teeth kick. He's coming to smash your face in. He's coming to rip the complete nose straight off. He's coming to cave your face in. He's coming to kill you. He's coming to seek, kill, and destroy. And that's the difference. He's not just coming to slap you around and take your lunch money. He's trying to bury you and take everything that you've got. And not only what you've got, he's going to take the generation that's coming got. He's going to plant seeds in you. It's going to maybe plant seeds in your child that you don't even know about, and it's going to run down so deep. It's going to teach you the inequities of our forefathers. We're paying the pain for today if we don't stop now. We have to go back and cut those things off and stop now and plant those seeds in our children's children to come against the kingdom of darkness, because he will just keep coming. It's like a spider web. So the thing about fighting in the spirit is it's not the same as
I got a
fighting in the
question.
physical. Yes, go.
Yeah, I got a question on this spiritual warfare and how you're tying it to, realizing that even though you're a physical fighter, you're saying that the spiritual is, the Bible says you're not fighting a carnal warfare, you're fighting spiritual warfare. My question is do you think that there's fighters that go the other way in the sense of spirits working with them in their fights to be able to amplify their physical fights? Like, do you think that that's something you've ever come across? I'm just curious.
Well, firstly, as I haven't experienced it and come across it, so I can't speak it as truth, but it's definitely happened in my own knowledge. Yeah. Look, here's the biggest thing. Most people are good people. Okay. Most people are good people that are just trying to find the way. Okay. Most people are good people. They're just trying to seek, or they're trying to get out of pain, or they're trying to find answers. They're trying to make sense of this life. So most people, like the fighters, they have no idea. Okay, they have no idea what they're doing. Just like this tattoo here. Okay, the Sat Yang tattoo. I have had to break the curses off that Sat Yang tattoo off me, because I went and allowed someone who I have no idea who they are, for one. Two, I have no idea what they're putting on me, and I have no idea what they're chanting. I have no idea what spirits they're chanting. I have no idea what connections they have to the spirit realm. And I just trusted, you see? That's what I'm saying. You don't know what you don't know. You just trust that these people are so almighty and so great, but they're not. And I'm not bagging them individually and saying they're evil people, because they don't know either. Okay? You have to understand that that's what deception is. That's what divination is. You have to understand that the fact that there's only one spirit, it's the Holy Spirit. There are angels, but there's only one spirit. It's the Holy Spirit. Every other spirit is a lying spirit. There's no like spirit guides. There's no, none of that stuff. Okay. So when you go in and you allow people to speak over your life, say prayers over your life, and allow that to come into your life, you don't know what's happening. Now, look, watch this. So, for example, everyone's doing that. They're blessed. They're living a good life. They're winning world titles. They're having a good time. Nothing's happening. Everything's amazing. No curse has landed. Nothing's wrong with their life. Their life is perfect. And so they're going, Nathan doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, cool. Guess what? Then nothing happens in your life. Well, what did I talk about before? Generational. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to tell you that one tattoo in Thailand with this and got blessed and it was going to cause your life havoc. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you don't know. So I would be very careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying be careful. When I speak and when I do speak moving forward and as I grow and learn even more and more and more, I'm just speaking to help people. I'm not speaking to condemn people. I'm not speaking to put people into a corner. I'm not speaking fear into people. What I want to speak, just like Jesus when he speaks, I ain't Jesus, but I say when he speaks, he's speaking life into people. When he says, that he's the way, the truth, and the life, he's speaking life into people. So you just have to be so careful. So I don't know if there's any fighters necessarily that are going out there that are doing witchcraft, that are like trying to like conjure up some like evil, like demonic spirits to give them some extra, superpowers so they can win their fights. I don't think they even go there. I don't even think consciously they take their minds to that place. I'm not saying that it hasn't been done, because it certainly could be done and probably has been done, but not in my viewpoint so far, on my radar that I know about.
The reason I bring it up is because, like, I'm thinking, like, what kind of mindset you might need to be in to, like, throw these punches at some people you know how some people can tap into their adrenaline and they use a little bit of anger and things like that to kind of tap into this mind. I mean, I'm not a fighter, so I might be
Yeah.
talking nonsense, and you're welcome to call me out on it.
Look,
But you know, like you
look.
got to switch your mind into something that's yeah, like a different that you wouldn't normally be in right before the fight. You should almost like wind yourself up, pump yourself up, like the haka.
Like that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
like after.
Before they play football.
That's a powerful war. That's a war cry, right?
Yeah. I just thought, you know, maybe there's some sort of like the haka, for example. I've always watched that and gone, you know, are they like chanting like something else to like we're like, you know, one of the best rugby teams in the world and we're such a small country,
Yes.
but we have this haka and there was a reporter, an Australian reporter that was trying to get us to make the haka illegal because he believed there was this big advantage that we had every time we performed the haka. Everyone's so puffed up and so pumped and adrenaline flowing through them. He was saying that the correlation between us winning is us being able to do the haka. If we took out the haka, we wouldn't win as many games. I'm just wondering if there's some sort of like, I don't know, something that fighters might
Look,
do.
yeah, it's actually it's a good thought. It's a
Some
good thought.
people
And, you know,
might. Like there might be certain people that will do that.
yeah, exactly. There's probably some people that could do that. From my experience so far in martial arts, which has been like over 30 years, I haven't come across that. But one thing that my school teacher said when I was 16, I was in grade 10, and he said to me, and he was a born again, right? So at the time, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know what that meant. But later on, I found out what that means. And he was an ex-martial artist. So I was like, okay, I'm right. I'm 16 years old. I'm loving my karate. I'm loving my Muay Thai. I'm like, this is what I'm. So his teacher was strong. So, you know, you connect to him, right? You connect to someone that you feel like, okay, this guy's cool. He used to fight, you know, he's strong. And he said to me this, and I never thought about it from that day. I never gave it one more thought until this warfare started. And I was like, whoa. And I was just like, whoa. He said to me, be careful with the martial arts because you might open up basically he said like a floodgate, and it feels good. It might just flood in, and then it's just hard to stop. Something along those words. I don't know if I'm saying it perfectly, but he's like, be careful. But he warned me about something. Now I don't know what that meant, and it could be something from the sense of some martial arts are tied to, say, some Eastern spirits, you know what I mean? That might have like spirit of violence or some kind of powers or something like that. I don't know. So I don't want to talk about something I don't know about, but he did say that to me. So that was very interesting. And I was like, whoa, okay. So he knew something. But again, I don't think that I've been recently asked the question around, well, Jesus never really punched people in the face. And like, how could you like teach fighting and still love Jesus or something like this kind of thing, right? And well, Jesus flipped tables and he really come against, he come against people that
Used
were
a whip.
speaking the wrong things.
He
But
whipped people.
He used a whip instead.
here's what I want to say about that as far as like, how do you fight in today and like want to hurt someone? Like, again, well, firstly, is most of the times it's not necessarily you want to hurt that person. Other than obviously when the bell rings, you're like, it's I've got to make a decision. It's me or him. So I make a decision. Well, it has to be me. So I've got to do more, inflict more pain, more suffering to him before
Sure.
before he does it to me. But I just said to him, just go check with your heart. What really God really cares about more than anything is our heart. And you have to actually, when your heart is coming from a good place, that's okay. He likes warriors. He likes us to be strong. He likes protectors. He likes all these things. It kind of feels like, why would he want peace and love and then people punch each other in the face, causing damage? But that's just the world, But he's okay with those things, I believe, and because it helps people in so many ways, like positive, strong. They become like better people. They stepped out of themselves because martial arts from the timid child into a stronger man, or to a timid man into a bigger, better man. Like there's so many avenues. It's such a plus. So it really comes down to the teachers teaching them, and is their heart corrupted, by evil? And is it a dark place? So that's sort of that aspect where I talk about fighting and still being like in love with Jesus and wanting people to feel healed and loved and all those things, at the same time.
Well, even for myself, like that's because I had a couple of fights when I was younger, when I was like 19 years old, and then I become a Christian when I was about 21. And then that was something I grappled with. Like it was something I grappled with at the time. And it was since moving to Thailand that like I'm kind of like yourself. I don't have an issue with that. Like I don't have an issue with fighting or this, that, if I, like in the sense of Muay Thai, but obviously the body's a bit more aged and stuff like that, but I still train regularly. But that was something I grappled with, but I did got more heavily into it again about 5 years ago, and where I've trained regularly for the last 5 years. But for some people that is a stumbling block. But for me personally, it's not. I go and watch some Muay Thai fights maybe every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because I know a lot of people here that do fight in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
But God does save people from all different walks of life. Like some people think that we should become Christians and then we should all become like little like clones or something like that, which is
No.
then if we did become like that, how would we reach anybody? It wouldn't. It just wouldn't happen.
The other thing is like almost becoming a pacifist. Like if you're a Christian, you got to be a pacifist. You got to be anti-war and all love and all this sort of stuff. And it's almost the opposite. Jesus is saying you're going to be persecuted. There's going to be war, and there's going to be a fight, and you got to be ready. And it's it's amazing how opposite it really is when you do become a Christian. We were saying this earlier. Like the moment you become a Christian, you get a target on your back that the devil hates it, and he's going to try and take you out. And it's almost got to gear up and be ready for that. And did you experience that a little bit when you sort of like went all hard for Christ and was like, you know what, I'm going to take this seriously? Did you find immediate opposition, like a bit of a target put on your back?
Yep. I mean, there's been a target on my back for a long time that I didn't know about. And when you start to, when you realize, then when you realize that there's a target on your back, and then you have to really get right. You have to get serious about it, because the target didn't change, but the understanding there's a target on your back, that's what changed. Yeah. So just because you now know it's there, it's not going to go away. Like it's there, it's still there. But
poor analogy, actually.
No, that's a good analogy, because it is, and that's the thing.
It's not a poor analogy at all. It's
well, people have been
perfect.
trying to take him out for years.
Yeah, but it's a perfect analogy, because I was actually thinking that myself, because you become more passionate in the last couple of years. I'm thinking surely Nathan has been undergoing like all kinds of attack from all kinds of people. It could be whether they're religious or irreligious, whether they, on all different levels, like you will have, or even if they're just thinking, this guy Carnage has just lost his mind, or he's, from a, like someone who's maybe atheistic perspective, they go, like the guy's gone crazy, or he's just become a religious fanatic, or whatever that could be, or a religious person who doesn't believe in the supremacy of Christ. They might just go, this guy, for whatever religion they come from, they might be opposed to you for some reason. So if you want, share a bit, but I was just thinking, surely you've undergone a lot of attack the more passionate you become.
Well, I had to make a decision. Okay. I had to make a decision. And that's either I'm going to stay quiet and be afraid of what people have to say. I have to be afraid of the enemy, or I'm going to stand on God's word, and I'm going to fight the kingdom of darkness like I am a fighter, and I'm going to prove who the Lord is and who Jesus is. I'm not going to prove anything, but I'm going to do my best in exposing the enemy, one, and two, allowed helping people fight the enemy. And not just fight the enemy, but be victorious, because we already won. He already won anyway, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way, right? So we have to educate people in a sense that
Sure.
I feel called to help educate people that wouldn't normally listen, okay, at a normal Sunday service at church, or have gone to church and have been hurt, or
So good.
people who are on the fence, that kind of want to know something, but they're not too sure. If they feel like if they commit to this, then they have. Well, the other thing is, people feel like if they have to commit to this, they've got to give up these other things, right? And a lot of people don't want to do that. It makes sense when Jesus says, pick up your cross and carry it. If you want to follow me, you have to carry your cross. And if you, for those who will die to themselves, but it doesn't have to be as dramatic as that, because people don't understand the spiritual realm. If I plugged in spiritually what have been going on in my world to anyone, they would run to Jesus Christ. That quick. Okay. And I had that revelation today when I was driving. I was like, you know what, Nathan? I was like, I can't expect people to listen to my videos for 10 minutes or 17 minutes long. And I don't really care if they're too long for people to listen to. I'm going to just say what I've got to say. If they want to listen, they're going to listen. I don't really care. I'm not getting paid for it. So I'm going to put it out there and do what I've got to do, because I want to share. And maybe one person gets helped, and maybe 1,000 people, maybe 1,000,000 people one day, maybe 10 million, maybe 1 billion people. My goal is to reach every single human being that I can in my lifespan. That could be 1 billion people one day. And I'm like the revelation's like that. Of course, I'm speaking, but I can't expect them to understand and just come to Christ when they think their life is good, or they think their life is normal, or they think they don't understand, or they're in a situation where they don't want to give it up because it's fun or it's exciting, or their life is blessed and they don't feel like they need to do anything different. So why would they give it up? So I understand that people aren't going to be like, oh, just because Nathan said you should go get saved and ask God to come into your life and receive the Holy Ghost and be blessed, and you can be saved and go to heaven. They're going to be like, I'm good. And I'm like, okay, I understand, because I didn't, even though I went to church all those years ago for 2 years, I was still living in the world, living in sin the whole time. And sin is just missing the mark. People take this word sin. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to be, you guys just throwing the sin word around, you religious freaks. Like you just, you. So it's like, they don't understand. They don't understand the spiritual realm. So they don't understand what that can possibly cause their life. Okay. And that's the biggest thing. So the revelation was like, I can't expect people to understand what I'm talking about fully. So I'm doing my very best in every video that I make. And I'm going to take it to a podcast one day, to a YouTube channel, blow it up and set up Instagram, and just whatever. It's just, right now, that's what I've got. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. And it'll evolve into other places later. But it's to help people understand that.
But I've seen you. I was going to say, Nathan, I've seen some of your teachings where you're teaching Muay Thai, but then teaching the things of the spirit, that you need to be born from above, which another translation of that is born again, and explaining those things while you're actually teaching Muay Thai classes and stuff like that, which is kind of very inspirational. How is that like a big part of what you're doing as well? Like when you're teaching Muay Thai, you're also teaching people about God at the same time?
Well, in all honesty, that was the first time I did that, which was a week ago on Monday. That's why I was traveling. I couldn't do the podcast last week because I went to Albuquerque, and my good friend now, only a few weeks relationship, a really amazing guy. His name is Mark, and he's got Kingdom Muay Thai in Albuquerque. So I went out there because we were talking about many things that we're going to do together. And I said, well, if I'm going to come out there to look around, how about I teach a class, and we'll get some kickboxing elbows and all that stuff going, and I'll teach on warfare. Now, he's a faith-based gym. So in other words, his gym has already got an open acceptance to Christ. Not everyone's saved, not everyone goes to church or whatever, but for the most part, a good amount do. So they were open to it. So I had 66 people turn up. Out of 66 people, let's just say there was 50 that were saved and 16 that I'm just guessing the number, or maybe there was only 40, I don't know, but they were open to it. So in other words, I had a floor, I had a stage, I had a place where it was wanted. So that's when I went for it. I did a seminar a
Okay.
few months earlier in Austin, Texas, and I just taught Muay Thai. And I did my normal 2-hour dance and got them all feeling pumped up. And then I just said, everyone's finished. Everyone got their questions answered. Everyone okay? Everything's good. Everyone's good, 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 good. Everyone like, yep. I said, okay, I'm going to close with a prayer. In other words, I just closed with a prayer. Everyone closed their eyes, bowed their head. I prayed over everyone, and I left it at that. So I didn't want to, because you have to understand that I can't go into a gym and just talk like 1 hour of Muay Thai and 1 hour of God where they have no interest maybe, in that. So that was something new. It was something that was very close to my heart, and I really, really loved it. And I'd love to do a lot more of that stuff moving forward. But at the same time, I also understand that some people want, the Muay Thai from me, and that's okay. I'm still going to pray for everyone and let them know that I'm a man of God. I want to pray for them, and no one usually denies prayer. I just want to, can I pray for everyone? Of course, let's pray. I just pray, and I just ask the Spirit of God to touch them in a way that they would feel something that they would then push in a little bit further, a little bit deeper, and walk that path to get to know the Lord better.
Very good.
That's awesome, man. Would you be able to give us some advice on some of the listeners that might be thinking, they're getting into the Muay Thai world, they'll be watching this because they're probably into fighting and things like that, and just some advice on some young people that haven't ever considered God before, and they're probably in a lot of ways relatively hardened in their, like, the fact that they're fighting, they're a bit more hardened in their heart and things like that, to be open to Christianity, and that it's not just for us soft people, but it's for you hard blokes too. Like, do you have any advice for people like that?
My advice, if I would say something on that regard, is like, it's just like a technique, right? You don't know how to leg check, right? You don't know much about leg kicks. You start Muay Thai, you don't know how to block a kick. You don't understand about leg kicks. Your leg gets smashed up. Anyone who's done Muay Thai at one point in their life has had their leg smashed. Okay, whether it's in sparring or whether it's in a fight, because one is they weren't conditioned. Two is they weren't really that good yet, and maybe they sparred someone better than them. Or three, they really don't know how to block properly yet because they're only beginners. And their leg just gets chopped up, and that can happen at the highest level too. So that being said, as real as that leg kick is, eating your leg up is as real as what the spiritual realm is. But because you can't feel it necessarily, it doesn't present itself as real. So therefore, you're going to feel not inclined to see how to learn. You're not going to seek how to block that kick. So if they get smashed up, you're like, Coach, what do I do? I don't want it to happen ever again. How do I block? How do I condition my leg? How do I make sure my leg doesn't get chopped up? Because I can't sleep for a week because my leg's cramping in the middle of the night because it's waking me up because it's so butchered and bruised and hematomas through it and everything. So like, Coach, how do I fix that? Right? So I just want to tell people from the sense that if they respect anything that I'm talking about as far as from my fight career, and they go, yes, that's true, that's true, that's true, he's a great fighter, he knows how to teach you, doing those things, I'm giving them information and they believe it, I want them to listen to this and say that I'm not just sitting here just because I just feel like sitting here. I'm sitting here because I care to want to spread the message that there's a spiritual battle and there's a kingdom of darkness that lurks around the corner that wants to potentially harm you. Okay? When I say potentially, don't be afraid. It doesn't mean it has to harm you. But seek God. God is real. The God of the Bible is real. Because there's a difference between there's a God, there's a universe, and blah, 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 and there's a whole new age, and there's a lot of different, spirits and different things that people will go down that path. And, some people, want to go down the, Buddhist path. For example, a lot of Westerners who they just follow Muay Thai because it's super awesome, and they want to go, they look like do the kind of like go be a Buddhist, but they really don't know. I mean, it's like I'm just doing it because it's kind of like following the trend. You know what I mean? And Buddha was a man. He's not God. He's not the son of God that was resurrected and went there and can send us the Holy Spirit and deliver us from oppression and depression and spirits and all this kind of stuff. So I just want to encourage people to. It's not about hating on Buddha. That's fine. Like, it's fine. It's not about hating on Buddha. It's not about hating on anyone. It's just letting people know that as much as that leg kick is real and you need to learn how to block against it, it's good to open up your eyes to the fact that God is real, the God of the Bible is real, that Jesus is real, and he loves you, and he wants to protect you, and he wants to bless you, and he wants your love to be abundant according to his plan for your life, and not necessarily your own plan. But sometimes your plan that looks like your plan, those desires he put in your heart or head, especially if they're good, is from him anyway. So even though you think, oh, that was my desire, he placed that there. So I was going to say, ultimately, at the end of it, it's being educated. The fighter learns how to block the kick. He gets educated. He then applies the education to practical reality. He then learns how to block and absorb it, and then he becomes responsive when that kick comes again. It's the same thing. So it's about knowledge first, applying the knowledge in reality, and then becoming the knowledge and having a good leg block, right? It's the same thing. It's the knowledge of hearing what I'm saying is one thing. It's like they say, don't be hearers of the word, but by doers of the word. So you don't want to just be hearing what I'm saying. Oh, that's cool. Like, I'm not just saying it lightly. Like, it's very, very, very important. And it's very serious. But when I say serious, it doesn't mean don't be afraid. Just like we're not fighting, it's serious. You could go in the ring, you get punched in the head and die. It's very serious. So be aware it's serious. Train harder, be smarter, fight better, and don't pick easy fights, but don't fight people you shouldn't be fighting because you're putting yourself in danger for one. It's like I'm not going to go up against a principality over a whole nation right now because I don't have the power to fight that by myself. Okay, there's principalities of like, let's just say lust, right? Lust is a principality over Vegas, right? Because there's so much lust and this and that and going on and blah 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 blah. And I'm not going to go against that by myself. Like, I'm not strong enough in my own spirit, even though it's not my spirit, by the way. It's not by my mind, my strength, but by the Spirit of God, by my spirit, God says. But I'm still not trained enough. I'm not ready enough for that fight. I'm not going to have a world title fight in the first 5 fights. So I'm not going to go and fight a principality and try and take a principality that covers a whole city or even a nation down. I'm not going to do that. The guys that have done spiritual work at ASEA, that's what God does. He sends them around the world to take down principalities. You can check him out, Phoenix, at Phoenix on Instagram. And he's got like where he travels. God puts him in different places around the world, over in the Vatican and in Greece, in different places in Italy, in different places around the world, in America. He's in Paris right now, in Brazil. And he goes in there and he has to replace the kingdom of darkness principality that's over that city. He'll go in there and he'll take it down. The Holy Spirit will guide him. They'll teach him what to do, to pray. He'll see it all going on. It's a full war. Michael will come down, be like angels fighting. It's like a battle. And then God will replace it with another not a principality, but he'll replace it with like God's kingdom, like whatever that angel or whatever it might be that it is. So I'm going to fight my battles.
I was just hearing you saying you. I was just going to say, Nathan, you said you wouldn't have a world title fight in your first 5 fights, but if I'm not mistaken, it was fight number 6, right? Is that right?
No, it was
when
19,
you fought Scott Bannon?
Yeah, but that wasn't a world title fight. It was fight 19 was not a world fight title.
Oh, was it 19?
I fought Scott Bannon, but it was probably
fight. No, I thought it was fight 6.
No, that was my first title, state title, my 6th fight.
That wasn't a world title.
I think I got
Oh,
banned in
there's a
6
state
fights.
title. Okay,
I
fair
must
enough.
have had, when I
So
first
it's
got banned,
fight 19.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
So it's around number 19. So the point, like, you still, yeah. But a lot of Christians don't understand, like, you might be a bit more aware, but people could become a Christian, but they don't understand that, let alone people that are not a Christian. The spiritual realm is real and the attacks are real, but obviously even many Christians don't get that and they're underprepared. They'll just be easy targets or, yeah. So it is an important thing to know that we are fighting. There are the spiritual warfare at play. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There's a lot of Christians that have no idea. And
Sure.
you know what?
Mm.
Here's the one thing I will say is this: I don't wish spiritual
Do
warfare
you
on any.
think? Oh, sorry.
I don't wish spiritual warfare on anyone.
Yeah.
I don't want them
Sorry
to.
about the lag.
Yeah, you're right, there, brother. I don't wish spiritual warfare on anyone. Okay, but to be educated, to understand, it does two things. One is it helps you protect yourself and stay out of the potholes and open and make sure those doors are closed so the enemy can't come in and give you the things he wants to do to you, right? The second thing, right, is understanding it so you are stronger as a Christian so you can fight for others who don't know. Okay, you can help other people. It's not when you move past your own self. Yes, take care of yourself. That's what we have to make sure we take care of ourselves in the sense that we need to protect closed doors. So that way, now when we're going out to battle, we don't have open doors. So the enemy's going to try and destroy you because you're helping other people. Like you said, a target on your back. Oh yeah, you got more than a target on your back. Like he wants you dead. So therefore, like you want to be prepared. You want to be ready. Just like when I was a world champion, of course everyone wanted to beat me, right? But I didn't let it stop me. I wasn't prepared to give my belt up. That's what kept me going. Just like I'm not prepared to let the enemy take me out. That's what keeps me going. I want the life. I don't want to get to the end of my life and go.
Yeah, so good, man.
I didn't live according to the plan that God had for my life, and I just wasted it. I've already wasted enough years. So that's why they need to know.
Awesome,
The
man.
Christians who don't know, they need to know. Let alone the ones who don't have a clue. The ones who are saved already, that some of them they have no idea, and that's not me judging them or saying that whatever. I'm not making any bad statement. I'm just saying they don't know what they don't know. Okay. And that's why I'm passionate about, because they don't know what they don't know.
That's so true.
And I'm just glad that they're saved and they're Christians.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the enemy is not even attacking them because they're really not doing anything.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. We sometimes you need, like, when you've got those attacks coming towards you, you can view it as actually a good thing. Means that you're annoying the enemy. You're doing enough in the war that the enemy is, taking notice, and that's a good thing. It's yeah. Nathan, do you have any like links or anything that you want to do a shout out to, so people that come across this can make sure they find you on Instagram, and any plugs that you want to promote? Just, I thought about it earlier and I was like, make sure we don't forget that.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm not right at this stage. I don't have any like plugs into any links that could take you to some products to buy or something. In the future there will be something there to keep doing good stuff. But
yeah, okay. But
but
people
right
can
now,
find you on Instagram.
Just find me on Instagram, man. That's where I'm at right now, and things will change, but I'll let people know over time when that happens.
But they could easily just find you by searching Nathan Carnage Corbett on Instagram, right?
That's right. Carnage Corbett is the handle, I think, but it'll come up. It'll pop up. There's only one Carnage.
Only one Carnage.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Awesome. Did you want to finish up with a last question, or?
I guess probably if there's a last question, probably what would you have to say to, like, obviously you've got a lot of followers. There's through process, a lot of people will see this. If obviously we've highlighted the areas, if someone is a Christian, that like the spiritual awareness or that sort of stuff, but what would you say to those people that aren't Christians, that what would be your words of encouragement for them? What would you have to say to them?
One of the things that happened to me when I went to a prophetic conference 7 months ago, I went to the prophetic room and I had, which is where the person will be. That's not psychic. It's Holy Spirit will lead these people. They have the gift of prophetic word. Okay, they have the gift of prophecy. And the prophetic word, I got a long lady was speaking. I got a lot of good stuff from that. But she said to me this. She said that she was just saying what God was telling her to share with him, which was that he said that he loves me, even though there's been things that I've done that haven't been pleasing to him. Okay, so why I want to tell you that is that even if you're not a Christian, and even if you don't know who God is, and maybe you don't believe God is real, and maybe you don't want to go down that path right now, he still loves you. Even if you don't care about him or want to get to know him, he still loves you. So that's what I want to leave you with, is that he loves you regardless of how you feel and think. He loves you. The God of this world, the God that created you, he loves you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate your time coming on the Jesus Magnet. You're a legend, and it's awesome being able to talk to you. A real honor, honestly, it is. Even from someone that is not really in the Muay Thai world like myself, I am very, very thankful to be able to meet you and talk to you and ask you questions. You really are an inspiration. And yeah, it was just awesome. Want to share anything, Brenton?
Yeah, nothing else to share on that. I was after Nathan's closing thoughts, and it's all good.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Jesus Magnet.